Let's talk about intentions. They're open, they're curious, they're a completely different energy. Intentions allow you to kind of on-ramp onto the highway, but you might not know the directions or the final destination. But you know you're on the highway. You know you're on the journey. You know you're on the road. Welcome to the Modern Psychedelics podcast. Thank you so much for being here and choosing to spend some time with me today. I'm your host, Lana. This is the place where we explore how modern humans can work with psychedelics and plant medicine to engage more deeply with life. You can expect balanced and grounded conversations around therapeutic, spiritual, and recreational containers. All right, let's journey. Setting aside the time, energy, and money for a full psychedelic experience can be a lot. That's why I love Kanna. It's a gentle ally for daily support that actually gives results. Kanna is a succulent from South Africa that has been traditionally used by indigenous communities such as the Khoi and the San people for mood enhancement, stress relief, and spiritual practices. Kanna is an empathogen, so it helps emphasize feelings of connectedness, open-heartedness, and calm. It also happens to be pretty well researched. In fact, one of the active alkaloids in Kanna is prescribed as a pharmaceutical for anxiety and depression. The best part is that it's completely legal in North America and sold as a health product. But the Kanna supplements you'll find in stores is table grade, so they're not active in the alkaloids that make a difference. Kanna Extract Co. is leading the way in creating quality, potent extracts. Their signature extraction process ensures absolute purity and precise alkaloid profiles. For you, this means unparalleled potency and the amazing felt effects. If you want to learn more about this plant medicine, check out episode 74 with Ryan Luttrell. Kanna Extract Co. also ethically sources their medicine, working with growers who uphold benefit sharing agreements with traditional knowledge keepers, and we love that. Start your journey with Kanna today. Visit kannaextract.com and you can use Lana at checkout to save 10%. That's Kanna Extract, Kanna extract.com, and use Lana, Lana, at checkout to save 10% off your first order. All right, back to the episode. Hello, everyone, and happy holidays that are just around the corner. If you're listening to this when it is being released, if you're celebrating holidays around this time, sending you lots of love. If you're getting some break and rest from work, I wish you a lot of just rest and rejuvenation. Today's podcast episode is full of so much value. I actually just finished editing it, and wow, I wish I had this type of information when I was just trying to put together really powerful intentions for psychedelic experiences. So I hope that you enjoy it. I would definitely recommend either listening to it again or listening to it with a journal beside you, because there's just a lot of journaling prompts in it. And just two quick notes before we get into the solo episode. First of all, I am still looking for feedback from you guys about the podcast. I want to, just take a little zoom out, evaluate things, and continue making content that is really valuable for you. If you head to the link in the show notes, there is a community feedback form where you can kind of just have your say. Let me know what you're liking. Let me know what you're not liking, what you want more of, what you want less of. And that'll really just help me continue to serve you and to give you content that is useful for you. As a thank you, you will be entered to win one of 2 coaching sessions with me. So check that out. I really, really appreciate it. And last, as a coach, I have a couple of spots in my one-on-one practice for January start dates. So my prices will be increasing in January. If you have been wanting to work with me as your life coach, or if you have been curious about this opportunity, I recommend jumping in now, because my prices, like I said, will be going up, and my package, my program will also be changing from 3 months to 6 months with the price increase. If you're curious to learn more, check out all of the information on my website. It's linked below, or modernpsychedelics.net/coaching. And if you're ready to get curious and have a conversation with me about if coaching is right for you, you can go ahead and fill out the application form, or just send me a DM on Instagram and we can chat. I'll voice note you and we can have a chat. So Those are the two things, the community feedback form. And if you're looking for a psychedelics informed life coach, now would be the time. All right, guys, let's get into this episode. Save this one, share this one. It's full of a lot of information and a lot of really impressive. I've impressed myself with this one, full of a lot of really impressive perspective shifts. So enjoy it, and sending you lots and lots of love for the new year. We'll talk then. Bye. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. So grateful to have you here. If you're new, welcome. Feel free to go ahead and explore the other 70 plus episodes that I have recorded for you guys over the last 3 years. Today is a highly requested episode topic. I have 10 tips for you today on how to set a powerful intention for your next psychedelic journey. When you're preparing for a psychedelic journey, having a clear, powerful, potent intention is one of the most important aspects of the preparation process. And this episode is going to help you to put together one that is really not surface level, that is quite deep and just suits what you need now. So creating a intention is an art, you guys. It's not a science. There's no specific formula, but there's a lot of things that we can keep in mind to guide us in creating a powerful intention. I have provided for you a lot of coaching prompts in here as a professional life coach. So I encourage you to save this episode, listen to it once, and maybe listen to it again, maybe listen to it with your journal beside you. And while you're listening, you can actually pause the episode and write what comes up to you with each prompt that I provide here. And by the end of the episode, you're going to have everything you need to create that powerful intention for a powerful experience, whether it's a ceremony that you're going to, whether you're doing psychedelic assisted therapy, whether you're going to a rave or a party. You guys know I'm a huge proponent of using these spaces for personal transformation. The container doesn't really matter. Intentions are always important. And these tips can work for whatever container or medicine that you're working with. And honestly, these tips can work with life. It's not just limited to the psychedelic experience. So let's get started. So intentions are paramount when it comes to working with psychedelics. Taking the time to create an intention puts us in the role of a creator of the experience rather than a consumer of the medicine or kind of a bystander, an observer of what happens to us. By creating an intention, we are becoming participants in the process. We come to medicine as a collaborator, a partner, rather than just a consumer. And remember, psychedelics aren't a tool to get us what we want. Okay? They're not here for us to use. We don't use psychedelics. We work with psychedelics. We are in relationship with psychedelics and plants, which is why we say we work with them rather than we use them. So an intention is your goal, your purpose, or your aim. I prefer to look at an intention as a purpose because it's more journey-oriented versus goal-oriented. And knowing this difference is actually really important. Knowing the difference between outcome-based intention and a process-based intention is really important. I'm going to talk about that later on. So let's just touch on what the word intention means. I did some Googling for you guys, okay? So it was first recorded in Middle English, which means an aim or purpose. And it can also mean a stretching out, which I found really interesting, a stretching out, because by creating an intention, by engaging with psychedelics, we are literally stretching ourselves to a new level of consciousness, to a new way of being and operating and thinking. We're stretching ourselves. We're stretching our limits. So I actually thought that was really interesting and maybe something to keep in mind. But the question really is like, who do we want to stretch ourselves to be? Where do we want to stretch ourselves to, right? Where are we going? So that's some background on what an intention is. So let's get into those tips. Number one, an obvious place to start is get clear on your why are you choosing to have this experience? Do you want to heal a wound that is hurting you? Do you want clarity around your purpose? Are you lost and looking for direction? These are some of the common things that I know people go to work with psychedelics for. Maybe you're hoping to understand yourself more deeply and just, do self-discovery, dig into yourself. Maybe you're in a recreational setting and you want to enjoy the present moment and you want to tap into joy and bliss. Are you numbing something? If you're getting really real with yourself, are you numbing something or pushing something aside? These are all intentions of what our why might be, But if you had to narrow it down, right? If you do some thinking about your why and you have to really narrow it down to one word, this is where we can get really clear. What would that word be? It could be peace, love, clarity, momentum, presence, wisdom, knowledge, right? So here are some questions for you guys to work through to get clear on your why. Why now? What changed within me that made me feel ready for this experience? What am I hoping will be different as a result of this experience? What is drawing me to this particular medicine, this particular substance, or this particular container or facilitator? This can be very illuminating because we hear certain medicines or containers or facilitators are good for certain things, and then we become ready for it. So that's a really important one to look at. And a few more. So what do I want to learn about myself or the world, or fill in the blank? Love, duality, non-duality, earth, right? What do you want to learn? What do I not have right now that I desire? What's like missing from my life? What questions do I have that are unanswered? So you can go ahead and work through those. Number 2, find what's alive. Find the energy, right? Find the charge. So I actually got this tip for setting intentions when I attended Reunion in Costa Rica. And they had an intention setting workshop. And this was one of the things that Jessica, who was facilitating the workshop, was talking about. Finding that charge, what's alive for you. Because intentions are most powerful when they're focused on what's alive for us right now. We have to find that charge. So a useful way to do this can actually be to get to the base emotion that you're resisting. That's often where a lot of the energy that is stuck is. And we often want to use these experiences to get unstuck, to move energy. So find that base emotion that you're resisting. It might be sadness, guilt, shame, grief, fear, but that can be very illuminating on just like finding where that charge is for you. You'll know when you hit on it. Again, this is more of an art than a science. Lean into your intuition, trust yourself, but you'll know when you hit on what's alive for you. It should feel a little bit scary, but it should also feel a little exciting because there will be this little activation that happens within you because you're opening up the potential to explore something new, and with newness comes new possibility. And change. That's where change comes from. It should feel a little scary. It should feel a little exciting. And there should be some resistance to it. Lastly, you can also focus on what's alive for you in the present moment rather than the future or past. For example, if your intentions are around healing the past, right? Instead of focusing on what happened or how you felt in the past, focus on what about that is alive for you and present for you right now. So how are you relating to that past trauma or that past wound? How is it showing up for you right now? What is it bringing up for you right now? And that's how you can find what about that is alive for you today. So here are some questions that can help you find what's alive for you right now. What emotions tend to be my baseline? What does that mean for me? What is my biggest struggle in life? What is currently missing from my life? What thought processes are not working for me? And what behavioral patterns or processes are not working for me? So rather than focusing on those thoughts that we have that aren't working for us, dig a little deeper than that and find the process, right? Find the trigger, the pattern, the way that you are actually thinking rather than what you are thinking about. And that'll just take it a little deeper. Okay, so number 3, run towards, not away from. So this is a little bit related to finding the charge, finding the energy, but go towards the thing you don't want to go towards. Go towards the thing that scares you. And like I said in the previous tip, this is often where that stuck energy is. Emotions are energy in motion, emotion. So what we don't process or feel gets stuck inside of us. So again, go back to those baseline emotions that are creating some stuck energy in your life and run towards them, not away from them, even if you're afraid, even if you're scared. Okay, now is not the time to play safe. Now is not the time to turn away, right? You have an opportunity and a privilege to do really serious work. You're maybe paying a lot of money for this. You're maybe investing a lot of your energy and making a lot of sacrifices to prepare yourself for this experience. So activate that warrior spirit and know that some of the fear is not going to go away until after the journey. And that's perfectly normal. That's perfectly normal to be afraid. It's perfectly normal to be scared of a new experience. I get it all the time. I'm going to go do 5-MeO DMT in a couple weeks that I've never done. And I'm terrified. I'm scared. And I know that I'm probably going to be scared until I'm on the other side. And then I'm going to realize that there was nothing to be scared of. It's just how it goes. So run towards, not away from, even if you're scared. So remember that what you resist persists. One of the things that Tony Moss said when I interviewed him a few years ago that I'll never forget is you can't let go of what you don't hold. You can't let go of what you don't hold. So we want to hold these things that we do want to let go of. We all have emotional and energetic blocks that can be explored during a psychedelic experience while experiencing these altered states of consciousness. So take this opportunity, activate the warrior within you, and run towards it. And it might be scary the first time you do it, but it gets easier and easier because you show yourself that you can do it. Here are some questions to help you find what you're resisting so that you can run towards it, not away from it. What am I resisting? Just intuitively, what am I resisting? What is the scariest place for me to go? I remember someone once asked me, what is the one thing you're most afraid of people finding out about you? Oof. Talk about an energetic charge. There's some energy in answering that question. What have I been avoiding within myself? Maybe within my relationships or with others or with the world, with society. Where in my life is there tension? What just feels like a drag, kind of draining? Okay, so let's go to number 4. Know the difference between an intention and an expectation. Whereas intentions are open and curious, expectations are rigid and closed. Intentions open doors for us, whereas expectations close doors or create walls for new information. Intentions open possibility, whereas expectations build walls. So let's talk about expectations first. The thing about expectations is that they're actually an attempt to control what happens, especially in the medicine space. They are an attempt to control a specific outcome, to stay in our comfort zone, or to close ourselves off from insights that are currently unknown to us. The unknown, if you ask anyone, the unknown is probably the scariest thing for them. It just takes a little bit of training and a little bit of running towards the unknown to realize that the unknown is actually not that scary and it can actually be full of potential and possibility. So when we go into an expectation, we act as if we already know the answer. We think that we already know what's best for us. We already know. There's nothing new that we could possibly gain. It's more about, okay, medicine, just give me the answer of how to get to this outcome. So therefore, we're actually blocking ourselves from fully showing up and experiencing what unfolds because our energy is invested in that particular outcome or into seeing through that expectation. So this is important to note because the very nature of psychedelic journeys is journeying into the unknown. So we need to have a level of comfort with this unknown, and that requires us to release expectations and to quiet the mind that our whole lives has been telling us what is right and what is wrong. Expectations are rooted in fear of the unknown, fear of change, fear of confronting ourselves or meeting new parts of ourselves. And they come up from a place of thinking we know the exact roadmap or the exact destination. So in this way, expectations are outcome oriented. Let's talk about intentions. Like I said, they're open, they're curious, they're a completely different energy. Intentions allow you to on-ramp onto the highway, but you might not know the directions or the final destination, but you know you're on the highway. You know you're on the journey. You know you're on the road. So intentions are journey or process oriented. So since we're focused on the journey and not the destination, we can use our full energy, our full presence, our full attention into experiencing what's unfolding rather than using our energy to direct the experience for that specific outcome. Intentions allow us to take whatever comes to us in our journey and to learn from it and to grow from it. With intentions, we can't really be disappointed with what happens because they are open. We are open to whatever happens. So we know with setting an intention that we can learn and grow no matter what. Some questions that can help you focus on the journey and not the outcome with your intention. If I'm being really honest with myself, what do I expect to be different as a result of this experience? No judgment, just list it out. Just be aware of the expectations you currently do have. And it's okay if you have them. We all have them. Just bring awareness to them first. That's the first step in releasing them. So, how willing am I to partake in this experience, even if I don't get exactly what I want or expect? So, if you're not willing to go there, I would say it might not be the right time to have a journey. I would say give it a little more time until you do feel willing to go there, not knowing what may unfold for you. What expectations do I have around how long it should take for things to change after this experience, or how things should look like? Look for those shoulds. Where there's a should, there's an expectation. So look for those. And then just tapping more into that intention energy. How do I want to show up for this experience? Who do I intend to be? What is my plan if something uncomfortable or surprising comes up? How can I set myself up so that no matter what happens, I will feel safe and supported? So this is some of the prep work you'll want to do with your facilitators. So here's my not so secret. The number one tool in my toolkit, the thing that has changed my life for the better the most, aside from psychedelics, of course, is not therapy. It's not breath work. It's not meditation. It's not even the yoga I've been doing for 15 years. It's coaching. Because coaching is the most actionable tool that I have come across. A few years ago, I fired my therapist and hired a coach. And working with a coach helped me start moving in the direction I wanted to move. And I finally stopped feeling stuck. I fell so in love with coaching, even though I wanted to become a therapist at that time. I decided instead to get trained and certified as a professional coach. As a psychedelics informed life coach, I work with people who are on the psychedelic path, which is probably you if you're listening to this podcast. The Global Coaching Client Study from the International Coaching Federation shows most clients who work with a professional coach report improved work performance, more growth and opportunities, greater self-confidence, enhanced relationships, more effective communication skills, better work and life balance, and an improvement in wellness. According to the same study, 99% of people who were polled said that they were somewhat or very satisfied with the overall coaching experience. Coaching works. I see similar results amongst my clients every week. You can actually read their beautiful in-depth testimonials on my website at modernpsychedelics.net. Along with being psychedelics informed, my style is process oriented. We live in this outcome obsessed world where our default mode is to live life for the destination or the end result. But I have come to understand that the gifts are actually in the journey, and that's where we grow and learn and enjoy life the most. So that's why I equip my clients with tools and skills for the long game of life and the long game of medicine work. I'm currently onboarding new one-on-one clients into my coaching practice. So if this sounds like it would be supportive for where you're at, get in touch with me. I would love to hear from you. And you can click on the link in the show notes or head to modernpsychedelics.net/coaching. There's lots of info there for you along with those testimonials. I can't wait to connect with you. That's modernpsychedelics.net/coaching. Okay, let's go back to the episode. Okay, number 5, be mindful of your phrasing, of how you're actually wording your intentions. And this is related to the previous tip as well. So again, I actually learned this in the workshop at Reunion with Jessica, and she mentioned this phrasing technique that she learned from Gabor Mate's Compassionate Inquiry program. So phrasing that is useful is one of 3: help me, show me, or teach me. So this is brilliant because, dun, 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 it keeps our intentions open. Show me, and then you're going to fill in the blank. Show me is a broad intention that invites a direct understanding of what you're asking for. It's the top of the tunnel. It's very broad. Teach me is a little more narrow. It's teach me the mechanics, teach me the way, the how, the steps. This is useful if you are wanting to create specific changes or show up in a very specific way, whereas show me can be more of that higher perspective of learning. And then help me is useful if you're like, honestly, I'm stuck and I don't know what else to do but to ask for help. And I'm open for whatever help comes my way. So the example that was given at reunion, I remember someone was like, okay, I want to work on my relationship with my mom and I'm not really sure how to like phrase that into an intention. And the advice that was given to her was you could go with something as simple as asking the medicine, show me my mother. Show me my mother, which is going to invite an understanding of your mother and who she is and how you relate to her. And it's not really tied to a specific outcome, but with that understanding, outcomes will naturally follow and changes will naturally follow. So another example, right? If you want to find romantic love, you can ask the medicine, teach me how to be love. If you're feeling totally stuck and you don't know your purpose, if you don't know where you're headed, you could ask for, help me find clarity, or help me see clearly, or help me feel peace, right? Whatever you want to fill that blank in with. But this phrasing is very useful for keeping those intentions open. So at the end of this process, go back to this tip and you can use this to actually phrase out your intentions. So number 6, another way to work with intentions is to focus on your being rather than doing. So this is something I'm super passionate about as a core energy coach. This is what I'm focused on with my clients, is changing their being rather than changing what they are doing on a day-to-day basis. Because when we change who we are at our identity level, at our being, those habits and behaviors just naturally will follow. So it might be the longer way around, but it's definitely the more long-term effective road to take. So who do you want to be and how do you want to show up for this experience, rather than what do you want to get out of it? So again, this is focusing on the journey and not the outcome, but really looking at ceremony or the psychedelic space or even the rave space as a template for life. How we show up to these spaces can teach us how to show up for life, because we're going into these spaces with probably a little more intention than going to work or cooking ourselves a meal. We can use these as templates for life. We can use these intentions as templates for life. So focusing on the being and focusing on the level of your identity is what's going to create the most sustainable long-term changes that you desire. So perhaps you want to show up with more presence, openness, and fearlessness in life. So this is about focusing on who you want to be rather than what you want to do. It doesn't matter what you're doing, but if who you are is present and open and fearless, you can be that no matter what you're doing or where you are or who you're with. So again, instead of asking for financial abundance or wealth, you can ask to be abundance or to be shown what abundance is. Instead of asking for healing, ask for what it will take for you to be whole. Show me how to be whole. Teach me how to be whole. Instead of asking for a relationship, ask for the medicine to show you how to operate within the frequency of love so that you're always fulfilled no matter what your relationship status is, right? Instead of asking for an improved relationship with your mother, ask to be someone who seeks to understand your mother. Ask to be someone who is curious rather than judgmental. See how these are focused on the level of identity and not doing particular actions, because these will inform particular actions. Questions that can help you focus on being rather than doing. Who do I want to be during this experience? How do I want to show up for this experience? Who do I want to be in life? How do I want to experience my life? How do I want to operate in this world? And what do I want to create? Really powerful questions that if you take your time digesting and going through, oh my gosh, they'll make all the difference, not just for your journey, but for your life. Number 7, Focus on what you want rather than what you don't want. Focus on what you want to bring in. You can focus on what you want to release, but I do want to encourage you guys to really shift that perspective from past to present. So as a coach, I ask people all the time what they want. And 8 out of 10 times, people will start telling me about what they don't want. I want to not be broke, and I want to not work a job that I hate, and I want to not be in a toxic relationship. Okay, yes, I get that. But it's so much more powerful when we focus on what we want to create in life rather than what we no longer want. It's a simple perspective shift that takes us from the victim of something that is happening to us that we don't quite love into the creator, knowing that we are the creator who can create whatever we desire in life with, of course, the transformation and the actions that follow that. When we focus on what we don't want, again, we're operating from fear, frustration, guilt, resentments. It's super draining. I'm getting drained just thinking about it. But when we focus on what we do want to bring in and what we do want to create and how we do want to experience life, we're operating from a place of possibility and joy and curiosity and excitement. And this is empowering. This is fueling. So, for example, instead of saying, teach me how to not feel sad anymore, you can say, teach me how to feel the love, beauty, and bliss that's all around me. Or you can say, show me how to connect to the love and beauty and bliss in the world. See how it's asking for the same result, but the energy of it is very different. And it's more open. So this is really about answering the question, what do I really want? What do I really want? So here are some questions to help you focus on what you want. Again, how do I want to experience life? And what do I want to create in my life? And who do I want to be? But also, how can I fill in the blank? So how can I live from a place of love? How can I show up in full presence? How can I engage my full energy in every moment of my life? Just fill in the blank with what it is that you actually want to experience in life. It's going to take you going through those previous journal prompts of actually clarifying how you want to experience life, which is up to you, you guys. How you want to experience life is up to you. You get to decide that, okay? Your past doesn't get to decide that. Like, you get to decide that now. It's up to you. So once you get clear on that, you can ask the medicine to show you how to create that. And the answers might surprise you. The answers might be so much more simple and at your fingertips than you ever would have thought possible. So let's see, what else do I have here? How can I see that fears are false evidence appearing real? I think this one's important because fears are something that we all experience that hold us back from going for what we truly want, from believing that what we want is possible for us, and from taking action on what we want. So I think that asking the medicine to just reframe the way that we see fear and the way that we relate to fear can be really powerful in helping us focus on what we want. And you can phrase that however you want. Like, I like to refer to fear as false evidence appearing real, but you can phrase that as however you want. So how do I operate from a place of fearlessness? How do I live from a place of seeing fears as just thoughts in my mind? You can play around with it. And again, find the energy, find what speaks to you, find what is alive for you. But exploring fears and your relationship to them is a really good one here. Okay, number 8. These last 3 tips that I have are more just quick little tips. They're not so much journaling prompts, but really useful tips. So often people will come to an experience with the intention of, show me what needs to be revealed, or help me release whatever isn't serving me anymore. I have heard this so many times. I have used this myself in the early days so many times. And I have come to understand these 2 intentions in a deep way. And I want to share these with you guys. There's nothing wrong with these. They're not bad. They're not wrong. But I want to challenge them. They're very broad. They're so broad that Almost pretty much anyone in the world could use one of these intentions going into a psychedelic experience. So I just want you guys to be aware if you're being pulled towards that direction, if you're going to one of these because you can't come up with something more specific, if you haven't maybe dug deep enough, right? What's behind that? What might be preventing you from digging a little deeper and getting a little more specific, getting a little more involved and intuitively connected with what's really going on for you, okay? So I'm just going to challenge anyone who's going in to show me what needs to be revealed. I promise you guys that no medicine in this world will release everything that isn't serving you in a single session or a single retreat, or even honestly in a single lifetime. So it's very broad. Do you see that? So yeah, just focus in on where you're at right now, right? Go back to the earlier tips to rework this one, find the charge, tap into your why. In some cases, this is a perfectly okay intention. I actually use this in my Shipibo ceremony at reunion because honestly, I had no idea what to work on, but I knew there was something to work on. And I asked, show me what needs to be revealed. And then the ayahuasca revealed if you guys go back and listen, the whole thing about my gut. And that set me off on creating another intention. In some cases, maybe you truly are ready to be shown something that is a blind spot for you. If you're truly like, I don't know what my blind spot is, like maybe you've been on the path for a while, maybe you've done a lot of work and you're just like, I don't know what my blind spot is. Maybe you are new and you don't know what your blind spot is. Just be aware if you are asking the medicine to show you what needs to be revealed and you're giving it full rein like that, it might show you some shit you weren't ready for. It's okay to ask the medicine to show you what needs to be revealed as long as you're ready for anything that comes up. And most of us are not always ready to give medicine that full rein like that. So yeah, just be mindful of this one. So number 9, this is relevant for experiences that are more than one session. These are like the retreats that have more than one session or ceremony, or maybe this is over the course of working with a therapist, maybe ketamine therapist or whatever. But as your journey, as your sessions unfold, allow your intention to grow throughout the retreat or the experience. Because as we increase our level of conscious awareness, deeper layers may present, which allows our intention to deepen or to become even more targeted. So I talked in the last example of not using show me what needs to be revealed unless you're like truly stuck or you are truly ready for whatever needs to be revealed. I did use this in my last ayahuasca ceremony and I was like, okay, I'm ready. And the medicine revealed to me this whole thing with my gut needing healing and how I can hear my body, I can hear the messages, but I'm not actually listening to them. And the medicine was like, girl, you got to heal your gut. Your heart is perfect, but your gut needs some work. And I was like, okay. And then I had another ceremony after that. And I used what I learned in that to inform my intention for that ceremony. Did I know going into that retreat that I was going to be working on my gut and my intuition? No. But starting broad allowed me to refine and deepen my intention with the new information that came up. So yeah, just continue to follow the charge, continue to follow the energy. And lastly, related to that, you guys are going to laugh at this, but set your intention and throw it away. This is really about that openness and curiosity and leaning into the unknown, that surrender that we talk about. Don't hold on too tightly to your intention because remember, a lot of these plants, in fact, these plants have their own consciousness. They have their own plans. They have their own connection to earth and humanity, and they have their own intention. And by consuming them, we are activating their wisdom within us. We are merging our wisdom with their wisdom together, and we become allies together with this plant for in a way, their vision of Earth and their vision of humanity. So the plant might have its own intention for you. And that's kind of the beauty and the mystery of this work. And it's part of the collaboration and it's part of the partnership. And it's why I love it so much. So yeah, set your intention, go through all of this work to get clear on your intention. but don't hold it too tightly. And there's work in that too, right? Like, how willing are you to engage in this work and to do this work only to hold it very lightly and to be willing to let it go and to be willing to maybe shown a deeper layer or another perspective of it. So I think what I want to leave you with is what I've learned is that the ultimate intention, the mother intention, the intention of all intentions that is guiding the intentions for me, feel free to take this, feel free to leave it, is to be fully present for the experience, whatever that looks like, to be fully present for what comes up, whatever that looks like, and to be fully present for yourself, whatever comes up for you, right? I really like to keep that top of mind, to just fully engage with what is happening. I think that allows just everything to unfold as it should, and it makes the process a lot more fruitful for us. And it helps us integrate that into our own life, right? What is that quote that I saw the other day? Life can only be fully accessed in the present moment, or life happens in the present moment. So yeah, that's something that I want to leave you guys with. So there you have it. 10 tips for creating a powerful intention for your next psychedelic experience. Once you've gone through these prompts, I know it's overwhelming. I would recommend that you review your answers and just circle the words that come up again and again. Circle the words that you feel that intuitive pull towards, that have that charge for you. And look for the interconnectedness, look for the theme that you want to take to ceremony, and then go back to tip 4 on phrasing. And you can take everything, all the topics and themes, and use that phrasing tip to really create your intention. So also, it's okay to have more than one intentions. Just look for the interconnectedness between them. I always go in with a couple of intentions, and I tell myself, if I make progress on any of these, like I'm happy, because they're usually really powerful. So yeah, I'm going to actually experience 5-MeO soon for the first time. And I just went through this process of intention setting for myself. So I'll just share what my intentions are with you guys. So teach me how to be love, show me abundance, and help me balance my nervous system. So this last one's actually really cool because sometimes our intentions, I think I mentioned this, can be related to the specific medicine. And being a war baby, I have not healed my nervous system. I am really noise sensitive and light sensitive. So I learned that 5-MeO is really powerful for resetting the nervous system. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to work with that, and I'm going to see what work I can do on my nervous system with this medicine. So those are my intentions. If you found this to be helpful and you want to refer to it in the future, I have actually put together a downloadable PDF that you can download. It's going to summarize all the main points in this episode, along with all those coaching and journal prompts. So you can download it through the show notes. Check out the link in the show notes to access that, or you can visit modernpsychedelics.net/free. And you can hold on to that, share this episode with a friend, share it on social media, and yeah, keep me posted on how things go. I love to hear from you guys. I hope that this was helpful, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to and supporting the show. To stay in touch, sign up for my mailing list, which can be found in the show notes or on modernpsychedelics.net. If this episode sparked something within, please let me know by leaving a review of the Modern Psychedelics podcast on Apple and Spotify. This really helps to share these messages with those who need them, which is the whole reason why I do what I do. And if you haven't already, come join the ongoing conversation over on Instagram with other beautiful souls. We have an incredible and conscious community over at the handle Modern Psychedelics. And don't forget that the work begins after you come back down to earth. And I'm standing shoulder to shoulder, doing it with you. This episode is produced in collaboration with Film with Integrity. They are a values-forward production studio providing end-to-end production from concept to content. They do event video, documentary series, commercial and marketing videos, and of course, podcast production. If you are working on a project that deserves quality of production and content without sacrificing heart and soul, visit filmwithintegrity.com to check out their beautiful work and get in touch with their team.